base, as 80% of our nations are in the forests of the land. So, but again, there is a policy gap there and a policy dialogue, I guess, issue. In terms of what this means in terms of, you know, when nations get down into carbon trading and having a different view on it. And I've been doing a little bit of thinking over the last little while since last time we spoke, and I thought, well, by and large, you know, most folks need different representations of what the carbon sequestration and what carbon trading looks like. And I think this picture captures it nicely in terms of we have a situation where this is the amount of carbon that remains in our atmosphere. This is the amount of carbon that we have emitted actually from industrialization back here. And this is Mount Everest here. So you can see the magnitude of the sequestration and the carbon trading playing field. Now, to get carbon and climate and the policy aligned and the market aligned, and to bring down the atmospheric carbon levels to a manageable climate change level, what the world scientists are saying is we need about 350 parts per million of carbon. To do that, we need to take this mountain out of the atmosphere, basically. So you can see that in terms of looking at the issue in this way, because it's very hard to look at what is a gigaton of carbon look like? What does a megaton of carbon look like? There's no real kind of 2x4 that you can put your finger on and get kind of an idea of, except for, I think, these kind of pictorial representations. For First Nations, where is this mountain going to come from? Well, in Canada, there are 630 First Nations, and then a number of Inuit nations that are mainly in the barren lands and in the Arctic, but nevertheless inhabit basically the carbon mountain hinterland. Where will this additional carbon be sequestered? And it looks like it's going to be sequestered in the forest. And as you can see, this forest is, of course, not just forest in the sense of an ecological scientific category, but it's a homeland. And so hopefully the other speakers can fill in, you know, exactly their contribution to these, to the Mount Everest of carbon sequestration mountains. But it is going to come from the homelands of all of our nations. So it's our sincere wishes for the nations across the land, nationally, internationally, to organize themselves and to coordinate and to be aware of the scope and the magnitude of the challenge that is before us. And with that, I would like to just basically say hello, everybody, and I will listen into the other speakers, and thank you for your time. And if you are traveling today, happy travels and safe travels. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Brad, for that. Now I'm going to pass it over to Brian Kummet from the Nez Perce tribe, located in the Pacific Northwest in the U.S., and I'll let Brian speak a little bit about his background and the projects they've been working on with Nez Perce.
Okay. Hello. I don't see the presentation here yet. There we go. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Jamie. My name is Brian Kummet. I am the Sealand Forester for the Nez Perce tribe, and started with the Menominee tribe in Wisconsin for 5 years before moving out to Idaho in 1991. So for the last 20 years, I've been working for the Nez Perce, And for the last 14 or 15 years, we've been chasing carbon sequestration. Also in the room is John DeGroat, the director of our forestry program, and he has been heavily involved in carbon sequestration trading as well. And both John and my contact information, phone numbers, and email are on the last slide at the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call or contact us, and we'll try and get your questions answered. So with that, I think we'll jump into the presentation. Quickly, we will give a reservation setting to familiarize you with where the Nez Perce is located, and then talk a little bit about why this presentation is somewhat dated. This presentation in our project has been out there for a couple of years, but given that some things haven't changed a whole lot. So we'll talk a little bit about that, go into the history and background of why we got started and the background of our projects, talk about our trades on the Chicago Climate Exchange and some of our experience or lack thereof with some of the other standards and registries, where we are now and where we think we're headed next, and then some of the issues and considerations that we've run into chasing carbon these years. So with that, the Nez Perce Aboriginal use area is quite a large territory. You can see it covers 5 states here in the Pacific Northwest, touching into Yellowstone and Wyoming. And the Indians Claim Commission is here in the dark blue. And then the reservation was first established in 1855 in the 3-state area there, covered in gold or light brown. And then with the discovery of gold on the reservation in 1863, it was shrunk to its current day reservation boundaries of about 750,000 acres. And the Nez Perce tribe owns approximately 12% of that original reservation. That ownership is basically composed of 3 different ownership types. In green, you'll see tribal trust lands, which are owned by the federal government, held in trust for the Nez Perce tribe as a whole. And then the smaller allotments in pink are also owned by the federal government, held in trust for individual Indian owners and their families. And then the gold-colored lands are lands that the Nez Perce tribe has purchased both on and off the reservation and are basically considered private land. So with that, here is a Landsat image of the reservation. You can see in the northwest corner the confluence of the Clearwater and Snake here by my pointer. And that elevation is around 700 feet above sea level, and it climbs to a high of about 5,000 feet above sea level in the southwest corner of the reservation, near the confluence of the Salmon and the Snake River, which is basically the entranceway to Hell's Canyon. And this is just a picture to kind of give you an idea of the topography and what a lot of the reservation looks like. And with that, we'll jump into the presentation a little bit. As I said, some of this material I feel may be a little dated, because we haven't really, most of our experience, I guess, is with the Chicago Climate Exchange. We haven't spent a lot of time researching and pursuing some of our projects to adhere to some of the other standards or registries, although I think that's the direction that we need to be going. As I said earlier, we've been working and chasing carbon dollars for a number of years and started in the mid-90s, about 1995 and 96, I believe. And as I alluded to earlier, a lot of the issues that we're still dealing with today.